I was bordering a panic attack on the other side here. Yeah.
That right there, it's like, holy, what?
He's like, what? As soon as I say it, there's not even a pause. He's like, leave now.
But also the only one. He's like, nah, I only killed her.
By the fire's glow, where shadows play, two friends share tales as night turns gray. Welcome to Can You Scare Me? Under the moon's haze, where chilling stories set the night ablaze.
Welcome back to Can You Scare Me?
I am curious though. Do you have anything scary that happened to you in the last like week? Because I mean, you know this because I sent you a picture of it because I was like, holy shit, what of the
Yeah,
thing that happened to me
please,
today?
please tell them what happened to you.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I work for a delivery company. I was out delivering. I was walking up this driveway and, like walking underneath a tree and just something fell and almost hit me, landed on the ground next to me. Not uncommon. Acorns falling all the time, pine cones, whatever. Didn't think anything of it till I looked down and it was a headless squirrel. And I was like, what the fuck? I look up in the tree and the tree's still pretty barren. There weren't like any leaves on it. I saw no hawk. There was no like turkey vulture, like nothing, no like birds of prey up there. I was like, where the fuck did this come from? Like, it was just headless squirrel almost got dropped on me from this tree. I was like, Jesus, okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's a bad sign.
Yeah. I did take a picture of it. I sent that to you. Maybe we'll throw that up on the Insta.
Yeah, absolutely, because that was so weird. And
Speaking of
it
which,
like
if you want to follow us on Instagram, what is our Insta, by the way?
our Instagram is Can You Scare Me? I think it's just Can You Scare Me? Nope,
Did
nope.
we just I
Can You
forgot we have
Scare Me podcast? My bad.
Yeah, so follow us on Instagram, Can You Scare Me Podcast. You can see like we throw out pictures from some of our stories sometimes. Like that elevator story that I told a while ago with the sign that's up on there. We'll throw this squirrel picture up on there too, just so you can get a little bit of, real life pictures going along with some of the shit we talk about. But
Yeah.
how about yourself? You have anything like freaky happen in the last week?
Um, other than if you've listened before, you know the stalker story I told. Well, I was driving the other day over to my brother's because my brother lives in the house that we grew up in now, and I was driving over there, and I swear to God, dude, I thought I saw him. I thought I saw the car,
Mm,
and I panicked. I was like, ah, shoot, he found me.
yeah,
I
that
was
would.
like, I was taking like random lefts and rights, just trying to like make random turns to see if it was gonna follow me. And the car was going the same way for like two turns, but then I don't know. I guess I
You have
lost
a
him.
you have a new car now, right? Compared to the one that you had then.
Yeah, but he had seen me when I would come home to visit my family,
Yeah.
so he saw the car.
Yeah, let's hope that it wasn't him and that doesn't come back to bite you.
Right. Just
Fingers
comes up. I
crossed.
heard the story you told.
No, no, when I said that comes back to bite you, I meant he comes back to bite you. He just
Oh
walks up
God.
behind you and just takes a
He's
big
the
old
one
chunk
that
out
threw
of the
the
back of your
squirrel at
neck.
you.
Yeah.
He took the head.
He rips off
He
heads with
Ozzy
his teeth.
Osbourne it.
Dude's a vampire.
Oh God.
It's like nah, I won't even go there with it. But all right. So we had a different kind of idea for this week's episode. So I mean, those of you that have like followed along or like seen some of the shorts we've been posting, our last episode we did do a little bit of a special like 420 episode. No smoking involved on our end. However, high schoolers showed up to smoke. But we
Yep.
went on location, went to a haunted site called the Scotia Barrens, told the history of it, talked about like this ghost story of this man who killed a woman back in 1910. And ended up doing a little bit of ghost hunting while we were there, which is something we want to do more in the future. We've already got like these other trips kind of planned out.
And we do now have the equipment.
Yeah. Got the REM pod, got the spirit box. Looking at getting a was it like an EMF reader? The other
Yeah, we
thing.
were gonna get an EMF reader. We were looking at one of those like thermal imaging guns, but they
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah. But so we thought maybe we'd go back in and take a look at like our video that we put up for last episode and kind of talk through like some of the things that were going on while we were doing the ghost hunt, kind of get a little bit of a reaction going to it. Because like when we were filming, I didn't even like know what was going on because I was doing the Estes method, laying down, had the headphones and the blindfold on, so I had no idea. But afterwards, Kayla was all like, "Dude, yeah, as soon as you go back and see this, holy shit!" And I'm like,
I had to be terrified for the both of us, and I think
Yeah.
I succeeded in that.
So I guess we'll get into it here. I do have the video up. We'll go through and I guess kind of like call out some of the moments where things got a little spooky. Turn the volume down for a moment. Let's see. Where do you think we should start it out at? We go straight into the ghost hunting, or even like
I would get maybe listen to like I would start pretty much at the ghost hunting.
ghost. All right. Let's see. Whereabouts are we?
Or if you just want to play out the video, like this, your story.
No. They can check out the episode if they want to hear that. All right, here we go. Let's go forward a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna like put a hold on it here. So that REM pod that we're showing off, Kayla also like pulled it up a little bit earlier. There you go. So I had never even like seen or heard of one of these things until you showed up with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you want to go ahead and give a little explanation of what that thing actually does?
Yeah. So basically, it transmits like a frequency field from this antenna here, and then there's 5 lights on it. So when you turn, there's also like you can set the range for how far out this field will extend, but basically any interruption in that field, so if you get close to the antenna, it changes the light, letting you know that something's interfering with the field, something's touching it, like something's nearby. Should I like turn it on and show real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so
Now you were saying about these like the different colored lights also meaning like different things. So yellow there, is that
so this
supposed to
is
be
just
temperature?
I don't know why that went off for a second, and I don't
Well, I
like
mean,
that.
you're playing with it.
No, my hand's down here, and like I didn't move where my fingers were when I turned it. And look, I'm turning it.
Yeah, see.
Okay, it's just got close to my face. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, oh, we're moving to night. That's what the rest of the pod is me
Actually,
moving out.
After you give this explanation, you should honestly go set that up in the background, like back behind you.
Oh,
I will
we'll
just
leave.
let it go.
Yeah, but also there's a cat and a dog that might set it off, and it will terrify me. But
Yeah, but that would
yeah.
be
So
fun.
anyway, yeah. So it starts on like a red light here. You can kind of see, but yeah, when you get close to it, it changes to green, letting you know. But then if you set it with like a temperature thing, it'll set off blue for blues down here. I can't get it to set off because I kind of got it there for a second. Blue means something cold, and then red is, hot.
Yeah, so
Turn
that's
that off
actually
if
what
it's
you're
loud.
gonna be seeing right in here. We didn't realize quite how dark it got while we were in this location. We did move later and got the flashlight on.
Yeah.
So eventually it gets really tough to see, but the red light is gonna be the only thing kind of like visible at a certain point here relatively soon.
Yeah.
Future ghost hunts were definitely gonna have the flashlight on us, but we were going from like, you know, take it back a little bit. It was fully daytime when we started,
Yeah.
and then by the time we actually got to the ghost hunt, we were waiting for dark, but didn't realize just quite how dark it got, how fast.
Should I set this up in the background?
I think you should.
Fine.
So is that it there? That red light?
behind me.
Oh, well, let's see. Fingers crossed your demon decides to come out to play while we're going here.
Don't put that bad juju on me. Let's see if anything followed me.
Yeah, that too. But so yeah, that's what we got set up in the middle here. It's gonna be like the only thing you're able to see at some point. Quick explanation of the Estes method, what we're about to get into. Basically, we have this thing called a spirit box, which is a little tiny like radio player that just very quickly cycles through like radio stations. And as it's going, occasionally you can pick up like a word or two here and there, or even sometimes multiple words from like multiple snippets of like songs or like radio hosts having conversations, just stuff of that nature. But it's really hard to like make anything out at all because it goes like fast. So basically, Estes method involves one person wearing noise canceling headphones hooked up to the spirit box and wearing a blindfold. So that was my role for this time. And those noise canceling headphones on and that blindfold, I could not see or hear shit besides the spirit box.
He did get pretty disoriented the first time when he stood up. He almost fell into the into the pond.
Well, yeah, literally, it almost felt like I was drunk standing back up. I was like, ooh, just like out of it. But literally, the only thing I could hear was the spirit box cycling, and Kayla then was asking questions out loud. Like I said, I couldn't hear a word she was saying. I was just purely, anytime I heard a word on the spirit box that like came through and I could make out what it was, I would just say it out loud. That's the gist of it. In the ghost hunting world, I don't even know what the word for it would be. The diagnose? No, that's not even close. But basically, they say that like doing this method allows ghosts to talk through the person who's listening to the spirit box to answer questions that the other person is asking.
Yeah, basically, it's allowing certain words through to like. Or it's like allegedly talking into the box for you to hear.
Yeah. And let me tell you, we got some like fucking ridiculous answers to some of these.
Our first time ever doing something like this, I do not like how coherent those answers were.
Yeah, right? So, yeah, I mean, the whole reason we even did this was because both of us are like into watching like ghost hunting videos and stuff of that nature. And kind of like I come at them as a very skeptic person where you not as much, but still we were both just like, well, let's do it ourselves just to like put it to the test and see what happens. And it was interesting to say the least.
Really?
So let me get this going here. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. So
it cycles
Yeah,
through.
you never focused very well when I did that.
It basically will not pick up anything unless somebody allegedly is speaking into it for you to pick up
I
on
mean,
it.
if you can hear how quick it's going through, you can kind of hear little snippets of things in there. But like I said, it's really tough to like
It's almost like inaudible.
anything. Yeah, but I will say, listening to it with the headphones on as we went on with it, and like as we were getting these like clear answers to questions, the words that I do end up saying are the words that I'm very clearly able to make out of like, yeah, it's night and day that like this was what came through. This is what was said. And then I just said it out loud. So let's fast forward a little bit here.
Although I realize now with him being
Right
under,
before that, I
if that
threatened to leave
spirit
him in
box
the
goes
woods.
up, or the REM pod Oh, I'm out. I am so
and I
out.
was unaware.
Also, I'm sure you guys can see it is starting to get real dark here. All right, Bert DeLige or Hold the Bodice, or any of the other workers that were accidentally killed in mining accidents here. If anybody wants to talk to us, let us know that you're here. You could either come up and, as we showed, you could touch this, or you can speak through Brandon, through the spirit box. But I'm going to be asking some questions, and hopefully somebody can give us some answers. Preferably Bert, if you're here, answer the questions or touch the box. I don't necessarily need to see you poking through the trees, because that will really freak me out.
I will say I do want to go back to this location at some point just because I'd love to see Bert. They do say that his ghost is like most commonly spotted from like peeking out behind a tree. And I was on the lookout, never did end up seeing him, but I want to go back and see if we can't spot him in the future.
I do too want to go back and just try again with this.
Well, now that we've done it once too, I will say that like a little bit of like jumping ahead here, but like we got to run it longer because like we were getting some like really good spots, and for me, like if you've seen any of the past stuff, you'll know at this point that like I like antagonization. I think that when it comes to like ghost related stuff, antagonizing is the way to go just to get more shit happening. Whereas Kayla, not so much. Where
Disrespect and they will not bother you.
we were kind of antagonizing a little bit and then like getting some responses and you're like, nope, 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 done. We're out. Let's go. And I was like, I was just getting good.
Like, yeah, next time I wanna try again because like I said, I think got some good responses, but I will say being very aware of being like you were not aware of the surrounding area.
Yeah.
So I was like, you'll see me just like darting my head around because I became very aware of the situation that like, should something happen, I have to be the one to be like, oh boy, this is bad.
To do would just like kick me, you know.
Yeah, but you're also disoriented, so you would have gone to like stand up real fast and just toppled right over.
Yeah, it would have been fine. But all right, let's keep going here. I think you're about to start asking questions.
Yeah.
All right, so real quick, it's tough to see, but all she's doing there is just reaching down and tapping me. Because, like I said, I couldn't see or hear shit. So, like, her tapping me was like the note of, like, hey, I'm going to start asking questions. Because I was still, like, hearing words in the meantime. It's not like nothing was happening.
Yeah, it's the signal when you're about to start.
Yeah. So, from here on out, anytime I hear words, I'm going to actually say them out loud now.
All right.
Reasonable amount.
Is Bert DeLige here with us right now? Or anybody for that matter?
Topics.
Okay. Is somebody here that knows about the murder of Hold the Bodice?
Now.
Is there somebody here now that knows about the murder of Hold the Bodice?
Something about the time. I added the something about.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of what I was saying, where like there are other things coming through that are like much harder to make out. And some of these kind of like nonsensical answers, this was still like in a section where like these were like really hard to make out for me, some of these. But like
yeah,
as
this
we
is
w-
a a bit of a learning curve, and a real like after doing it now, we learned that you're actually supposed to give them like 5 minutes to get in the zone, and I gave him like maybe less than a minute.
Well, I mean, you could tell how like freaked out you were getting. Just like, okay, it's actually
Yeah.
like I'm alone out here now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because I was just like out, like zoned in without being able to see or hear.
Exactly.
But yeah, like the me saying like the something about the time where it sounded like there was another word in there, and then I heard the word time, but it sounded like something going like, oh, what time or something like that. Kind of missed the first part of it. But like as it
That was
went
something I
in,
wanted to ask you that night, and I forgot about it. But I was gonna ask you when you were saying something about the time. I was gonna ask you, did you mean like the word time, or like was it they just like actually said the time, like the number?
no, it was literally like the word time, but there was something else before it that like kind of led into it, but like couldn't actually hear what the before it part was. But then it was just the word time. But like I
Yeah.
don't necessarily think these are like related yet. Where like some of these first responses weren't like it seemed like too skewed and too random to be
Yeah.
connected at this point. But as we went on,
Time one could be, because that was like Hulda, the murder of Hulda. If you didn't watch the first episode, was that that happened back in like 1910. So it happened like
I mean, yeah, but that's kind of a reach. Same thing with like that earlier response of like reasonable amount, and there's one coming up
Oh, I
too that
didn't think
like
anything of that. I
yeah,
assumed that, and then topics I assumed were just random at the start.
yeah. All right, let's get back to it.
All
I think
right.
this is about where it starts to
Reasonable
pick up
amount.
a little bit.
Is Bert DeLige here with us right now? Or anybody for that matter?
Topics.
Okay. Is somebody here that knows about the murder of Hulda Bodice?
Now.
Is there somebody here now that knows about the murder of Hulda Bodice?
Something about the time. I added the something about. But
Right. Yeah.
So that real quick, going back on the edit, I was kind of like, wait, is there a well there? I was like, wait.
Yeah. I was thinking back over, like I was considering like the ore washing, like where they were pumping the water out. I was
Yeah.
like thinking of that more of like a well kind of thing.
I mean, yeah, that or like the where they actually like had the pumps to like pump the water, but I was like, yeah, I don't know if that's really a well. I still think this part though is where it was too like I don't think there was anything like ghost like going on yet like at this point.
And also just like to point out that we had to move spots like twice before we landed at this spot. The first time was interrupted by stoner teenagers, and then the second time was interrupted by bird watchers. So we had to move locations. That's why I kept asking, like, is this the wrong spot to try and contact you?
Which yeah, and that's where the people say they most commonly see the ghost at the actual like ruins. Uh but where we were at the pond too, there are like some kind of like ruins here where you can still see the concrete foundations of where the old pumps used to be to like siphon water out. That's where
Yeah.
the bird watchers interrupted us because we were gonna record there earlier on at the actual ruins. I mean, we do go back there eventually. We'll get to it though. So let's keep going here.
All right.
reasonable amount.
Is Bert DeLige here with us right now? or anybody for that matter.
Topics.
Okay. Is somebody here that knows about the murder of Hulda Bodice?
Now.
I like that you let him know
Is
it
there
won't hurt him.
somebody here now
As if
that
he's not
knows
already
about the
dead.
murder of Hulda Bodice?
Well, I don't know. I was a
Something
ghost.
about
I'd
the
be rather
time.
hesitant to touch things when people of the
I
living tell
added
me
the
to
something
touch it.
about. but
Right. Yeah. Is that what you want?
The last one.
Oh. You want us to go back to the last place we were?
Before that.
Oh God. Okay. I don't like
See,
it. I
okay, so
don't-
that right there, I was like, okay, that's freaky. But I was also like, as soon as you tapped me out, then I was like, oh, what the fuck? We just got like two things in a row that without knowing what the question was, I was coming out of it like, oh, those two kind of phrases were spaced out, but they like were related. I'm like, to me, that was like something. So I was like, why didn't we keep going there?
Yeah, my reasoning though was like I felt like we were gonna get more of a response over there.
I mean, yeah, for sure. But I mean, watching this back, I'm just like, nah, you were freaked out. You got scared.
Yeah, a little bit that too. A little bit that too, not gonna lie.
But yeah, that's where like for all the words that like are coming through, like the spirit box. Well, not all the words. I mean, I'm saying
Yeah.
all the words I can actually
All
make
the
out
noise.
loud. Yeah, for all the noise that's coming through, for you to have continuously asked about the locations to then actually be like the last one and you're like the spot we just were and it's like no, before that. It's like, "Whoa, hold up."
That was that really you can hear me where I'm just like, oh God. Like as soon as it says back before, I'm just like, oh God. And then as soon as it says before that, I'm just like,
Yeah.
nope.
The last one and then before that. Yeah. And because like we said,
That's so crazy because we were literally at two spots before that.
hmm where we started at the Barrens, which is where like the painting of him is. So it
Yeah.
makes sense that that would be where we would need to be to like talk to him or like where
Right.
he would be. But
We
like we
just had to
started
wait about
there
the stoner kids.
and then we went to the pond where the pumps were and then we moved again to like around the back of the pond. So literally having it be like the last one and it's like no before that. Pretty fitting. Like he like we were being watched by Burr. He was like, nah, come back over to the Barrens. I got more to say.
Yeah. I wonder if he just like I don't know if it's because he prefers it over there or if like I don't know, maybe he's not able to like cross that like road there to get over to
I mean,
the
we
other
got the
side.
response there. You
Well,
know?
true, but like maybe he's not like as strong over there. I don't know.
Yeah. True.
Why
I
would he
mean,
prefer one spot over the other? He's a ghost.
well, yeah. The spot that we're about to go to in the video is like there's graffiti of him,
Yeah.
and then, I mean, you bring it up at some point where about like minor sinning in the location because kids go out there and party.
Yeah.
In life, like in the story, I say in the story, but in the history, I guess. His quote of like why he killed her was, I don't know why I did. I was overcome by the drink. High schoolers go out there to drink all the time. So, you know, there's kind of that like dual side of the fact that like the graffiti of him is an immediate like connection point of like people thinking about him when they see that graffiti. And then two, the fact that there are basically like offerings being left out there. Oh, Callie, you stay away from that plant. Come here. My cat was going for my plant in the background. I'm sure she. Sorry about that. But
To make a celebrity appearance.
yeah, I don't know. She always goes for that plant. I sprayed it with some like lemon water, and that kept her away for a while. But Now she's going back up. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Don't you look at me. No. She's meowing at me now. She's mad. Uh, sorry, where were we? Yeah, talking about like the graffiti.
mixing.
Well, yeah, talking about the graffiti though, and the like offerings, quote unquote, being left. It does make sense that that is the spot that like his spirit would be at the strongest. So I'm actually gonna fast forward this video a little bit, just because we're just kind of wrapping up there. Here,
Oh, but show how creepy it is to walk it.
yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'll take it
It is
there.
an entirely different world, like night versus like being there in the day versus like in the dark. Absolutely horrifying at night.
Oh, yep. Here we go. All right, so let's jump into it. This is just us walking back through the woods, heading back to the Barrens or to the ruins, I guess.
The one
Yes.
before, and we were at. We started at the ruins, and then we
That's
was it left or right? It was right. Yeah.
gets lost.
We started at the ruins, and then, you know, some high schoolers showed up to like smoke weed. So we ended up walking over to the 10-acre pond, set up at a location there where we had started doing the episode, but then some like bird watchers came and we're trying to enjoy the sunset with the birds. So we ended up moving again. And since it told us to go back to not the last one, but the one before, we're like, all right, well, let's head to the ruins. See what happens. So that is where we're going to now.
Scarier. Oh, I hate it.
It is definitely a different different vibe in the dark.
Yeah, this is so much scarier than just
There
a
it
little
is.
bit ago.
Okay, so
I
you know,
do
Kayla had
still
mentioned
hate it.
about somebody graffitiing on the
Smiley face on the tree.
the ghost peeking out behind the tree.
In the day, it's a happy smiley face. At night,
let's
it's
take a
on
look
that
real
side.
at
creepy.
that. We saw it earlier.
Yep.
Yeah, it's over here.
Oh, this is one of my favorite
Dude,
pieces of
set up in
graffiti
front of
coming up,
his
though. You might be able to see it. Right
he
there.
is.
Look at his fingers
Yeah.
Yeah, you
coming
can't really
around
see
the
it, but
edges.
Peeking
somebody
out from
painted
behind
on
the
there,
tree.
"When will I become a ghost?"
Yeah.
We got some good
So
pictures.
we're gonna get set
there
up
he
right
is.
here, I think.
Let's hope we can get old Bert to come visit us.
So I'm gonna take
Feels
it forward a
so
little bit.
unsettling.
Let me go back a little bit. Just get him in frame real. Well, actually, once we get set up, he's in frame pretty good. Yeah, somewhere in there. But yeah, so how we found out about this ghost story actually was somebody had wrote a piece on the history of the ghost of Scotia. And in the article, they actually showed this piece of graffiti, and we're like, "That's sick. Let's go see it and see if we can't like talk to him ourselves." So that's what we decided to do. I can't believe the graffiti's like still there, because that article was written like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And he's still there.
I fear not for much longer, though. I did go up and tap on it, and there's like when the exterior walls kind of like gonna chip off and like break apart, it gets like a real hollow sound to it, and that was so hollow
As it,
compared to like
starts to
everything
peel
around
away.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about to break off.
Maybe Bert doesn't like it. He's been slowly peeling away at it to try and pull it down.
Yeah.
But all right, well, let's jump back in here.
Probably good.
Take it forward a little bit.
All right, Bert, Hulda, ghost workers of this area. We have come over here as previously requested by somebody. If somebody wants to come and make contact, once again, please come up and touch the pod here or let us know. But once again, I question, is there anybody here that wishes to communicate?
Every time.
Do you try and communicate with everybody that comes here?
Sin.
Are you ready to talk about the sin that was committed here, the murder of Hold the Bodice?
I think this next one is the one. If I start laughing.
Killed her.
Oh, hell no.
I don't know if you saw my face, but I
Oh.
know that's it.
So that right there, I was like, oh man, because I heard that in the spirit box. I was like, wait, what? Because who the fuck? No one's saying killed her on the radio. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
where the fuck did that come from? Because
Yeah,
I
I
didn't come
hated it.
through. So like when it said about the sin, I was able to like find the radio station afterwards where the same guy that had said the word sin was still on that radio station talking. So like I found that like in my car later on. I was like, okay, that's where that came from. Where the fuck did killed her come from?
Yeah.
Because no one's saying something like that on the radio, right? Like that's why I was so like, whoa, that's why I kind of like laughed and was like, I didn't know it was going there.
But also like the coherent response to like me being like, are you ready to talk about like the murder of Hold the Bodice? And then immediately killed
Killed her.
her.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Because not even knowing the questions you were asking, just hearing that come through, I was like, what the shit?
And
Like,
you can clearly see that I get like not flustered, but like just scared at certain points, and like
Flustered.
I don't know what to like. Yeah, I don't know what to like ask because like we went into this very unprepared. Like we did not write any questions down. We did not have any like. We went in very blind into this, so like he has no idea what kind of questions I
Yeah.
could possibly be asking because I don't even know what I'm gonna be asking.
yeah. And we kind of figured doing it that way. I mean, to you guys, you know, that doesn't mean anything because we could say fucking whatever. But to us, that was our way of like trying to test it a little bit more. Where
Yeah,
because
and I feel
this,
you can pretty clearly see me like trying to rack my brain for a question.
because yeah, this wasn't not even for the video. We just wanted to test it ourselves just to see, you know, what happened or if like this was like a legit thing. And we were trying to do it as like legit as possible where, you know, I had no idea what questions were being asked. I couldn't hear shit. So even if you don't believe us, it was purely just for us to try and like do it ourselves anyways. And it was, you know, I'm a skeptic, but this shit was weird.
Yeah.
So let's keep going here.
Actually, where it was going.
Oh my God. Okay. Is this Bert DeLige? Bert, why did you murder Hulda?
Lost.
You were lost and drunk?
We pause this real quick.
Mhm.
I was thinking about this earlier when that part comes up where he says lost. Like, do you think, because she was taking a shortcut home, do you
Right.
think she got lost and like the opportunity arose and that's what he meant?
Maybe I don't know. I mean, maybe he was lost too. Like,
That's the way I took it when this originally, like, I just said, like, you killed her because you were lost. But I don't know. I thought about that afterwards. Like, what if she had, like, taken, like, a wrong turn or something in her shortcut and, like, he killed her because, like, she had gotten lost.
yeah, but still, that doesn't like make much sense to me. You know what I mean? There is something
I
that
just
comes
meant,
up later.
like, the opportunity arose and.
Well, so here's the thing though. There is something a little bit later that on like when we were filming, like you ended up missing it. Your brother actually pointed back out watching the video.
We can point it out when it comes up.
I'm excited to get to it because the whole Lost thing didn't make much sense. It still doesn't really make a ton of sense to me as a response. But what's coming up next, I think it's next, is, you know,
Yeah.
a little
In
crazier. Well, and real quick, right there, that in the 'cause
Lost in the.
Right, because the Lost was through, and then a little bit of time went by, and then I heard the in the, and then I also kind of connected that in my head. I was like, is he trying to say like he was lost in the something in the woods or whatever, trying to get something out? It just wasn't fully coming
Yeah.
through.
Bert, did you indeed kill Hulda Bodice? Did you murder Hulda? Or were you framed? Was this the place that you wanted us to come back to? Do you like that people come here
Got
to
quiet for a
see
little bit.
you and try and see your ghost?
You?
I hate this
Me?
part.
I preferably would not love to see you, but if you want to set off this here REM pod beside me, that would be okay. Do you want us here, or do you want us to leave?
Will it stop?
If we leave, you want people to stop coming here?
Pray tell.
I'm gonna pause it real quick. I actually thought there was something else right after the U. I guess it was like a little bit later.
It comes back later where
Yeah.
yeah. But I don't like I hated that when you were just like you. When I said, "Do you like when people come here?" and it was just like you, as in like you like it that I came to see you. Is that what you're saying? I
Yeah, and
won't
then it
do
was
it.
like
I'm not playing your game.
in the news spot, like you in the news spot, like
That's what's coming.
yeah, that's what I was wondering. But also like the whole like the pray tell thing. It's like I don't think he even knew what you were asking for a second. I'm actually
Yeah.
let me jump this back a little bit.
Do you want us here, or do you want us to leave?
Will it stop?
If we leave, you want people to stop coming here?
Pray tell.
Bert, are you trapped here in Scotia because of what you did?
All my sins.
You're trapped here because of all of your sins?
Yeah, there's the
Did
sins again.
you murder more than just Hulda?
Reject.
You were rejected? That would make sense. Are you mad that people come to see you?
By her.
Are you mad that they
So right there it is.
Yeah.
So
I was so freaked out and trying to rack my brain for questions. I totally missed it in the moment.
yeah, where there was so much there though, where it was like I wanted to pause it a little bit earlier, but I also wanted to get out to the rejected by her stuff. But
Yeah.
so like you specifically like asked him, I mean, I'll go back a little bit here about like, are you trapped here because of what you did? And then he's just like, all my sins. It's like, well, all
Yeah.
of his sins. That's what trapped him there. And then,
But
yeah, go
the
ahead.
rejected and rejected by her, like, I mean, that story is so old. It's from 1910. There's not a ton of documentation on it, but What we do know is that her husband either killed himself or died in a tragic accident operating a Ferris wheel, right? was a
Not a
Ferris wheel.
Ferris wheel, the merry-go-round.
That's it, yeah. So he was killed in an accident and or killed himself, but Bert was a worker of her late husband. And back in that time, making a move on a married woman is also very much a sin.
Mm-hmm.
And she may have rejected him, which could have led to her death.
Yep. Well, that and like the whole. There was basically like a grieving widow where I don't know, like this would have been in 1910, so I don't know how late this history goes. But I want to say in like the 1800s and before, in early America, there was like a custom of like grieving widows wearing like all black all the time and basically being a grieving widow like until their
The rest of
deathbed.
their lives.
Yeah,
Yep.
the rest of their lives. So like when he killed her, it was
A
They said
couple
he-
months.
yeah, it was a couple months after her husband had died. And you know, obviously like there's not a whole lot on the story where we saw conflicting things of like he was pissed at her husband, said that like he was still owed money from them for like past due wage, and when she couldn't pay him, he was pissed, killed her. We also saw another one where he ended up the article said that he assaulted her. We didn't really get into it much in the video just because you know, it was kind of dicey on whether or not there was mention of like a more despicable kind of assault where we kind of just focused on the stories that mentioned him like pulling her hair to the ground and using that as like the assault.
Yeah.
But
Inevitably, it all led to the same thing, that he then cut her throat and left her to bleed to death.
right, despicable enough on its own. But if he was doing that, then it seems like he might have done
The fact
something
that, like,
else.
we specifically decided not to cover that just because it was so long ago. There wasn't really like a ton of evidence to like prove if he
We'll say either
had
way.
assaulted her in that way or not. So we decided to err like away from that. And then it kind of seems like he was being like, well, she rejected me, so
Yeah.
like
Like
it seems like he brought it up himself, but
it seems like from hearing that of like rejected by her, then if there was that more despicable form of assault before the actual killing, he got rejected, he assaulted her in that worse way and then killed her because at that point like he was going to be killed anyways for assaulting her. So
yeah.
in my mind at least, Occam's razor, you know, I could totally see he assaulted her in that way, realized that like, oh shit,
She rejected him.
because she rejected him. Oh shit, I'm fucked now. Well, I'm gonna kill her and try and get away with this. Kills her, and then, you know, if he was like trying to like propose himself to her before, it seemed like he had some kind of feelings towards her. But then for him to do that, kind of a psychopath, obviously. But like,
If he was like really drunk and he thought like maybe when he was working for her husband, maybe he like misread some like social cues of her just like being generally nice, and then he just got like really hammered and he was like, oh, and she's grieving, she's vulnerable, like she'll definitely go for it, and then she didn't, and he was drunk and like was like, no, it's happening.
and then he forced himself, and then
Yeah.
realized,
And then
the
he was
fuck
like,
up he
oh, I'm
made.
gonna be killed anyway.
Yep. And then slits her throat to try and get away with it, leaves no witness. Eventually gets caught for it anyways, but
Because allegedly in that story we had read where it said about him assaulting her as he was getting up, she had like said, "I know who you are. Like, I'm going to the cops." And then
Yeah.
he just was like, "Well, I'm gonna kill you then,"
Yep.
and he did.
Yep.
Which we again did not go with that story, but it seemed like it started to gear its way there anyway.
Especially after this response right here. This is what like sells me on that story more than the other one that we ran because of
Yeah,
this right here, where it's like
that and the part where that's coming up where he says about like I doubled down.
that's that I okay. I didn't even make that connection till you just
Just
brought that up.
connected myself
But
right
that's
now.
that is like him fucking confirming it of like
Yeah. I mean, he confessed really
holy
fast to the
shit.
cops. Did he just confess really fast to us too?
Yeah. No, but that I doubled down. Holy shit. I didn't even think to me that
know
was like a
It hasn't come up yet, but like just the part where he keeps bringing up the sins and then like being like, where I'm like, is it because of the sin of killing Holdo that got you here? And he's like, all my sins. So like I did more than that.
holy shit.
And
See-
then like me asking about it again, and then he's like, I doubled down.
I'm really glad we went back over this because I didn't
Yeah.
that's not a
Rules.
connection that I had made before where like if he assaulted her and then he
Yeah.
killed her to try and get away with it, that's him doubling down right there.
Yeah,
And he's
100%.
telling us I fucking doubled down. Like what? Oh my god. Okay. That just adds a whole new layer to this.
Yeah.
Try to
Let's
see
get back
Holdo.
to it.
Yeah.
Is this where you wanted us to come back to, Bert? Did you want us to come sit in front of your picture?
Somebody.
You wanted somebody to come here?
Needs. The girl I found.
Did you not kill Hulda? Did you just find her?
Right now.
Oh God, I don't like that. Hulda, are you talking about me? Or
So I'm gonna pause it here. There is something else coming up, but the girl I found, and you're talking about Holden. He's like, no, right now, the girl I just found, you.
Yeah. And like before that, where he'd said you, and then like
Yep.
let it play the rest of it.
Bert, are you talking about me?
In the news spot.
Yeah.
That right there, it's like, holy shit, what?
You can see the realization on my face where I'm like, oh hell no.
It takes you a second too. Let me get to it.
Because I'm trying really
Is
hard
this
to
the
explain
spot?
it away in my own head.
All right, Bert, I think we're gonna pull him.
Okay, he did go on like a little bit of a break there before answering again.
Yeah. Dude, but if I would have said that and you just immediately were like, yes, I would have, instead of just a light tap, dude, I would have been grabbing you by the sweatshirt and just dragging you out.
just kicking me in the ribs, like, get the fuck up, let's go. We gotta get out of here right now. Just but yeah, no, because see, this is what's so fucking weird to me about doing this whole thing is like,
Do you think he was more open to answering my questions because I'm a girl?
I mean, maybe you know, who's
I
to
mean,
say?
I think next time we go back there, we should do 1-to-1, like we each try and talk,
Yeah.
like we each try and ask
See which one
questions
gets
just
us
to
like
see.
better responses.
Yeah, he
See,
just talks about
actually-
me to both of us.
I'd actually be curious if that's something that comes up in people trying the Estes method, if the responses are better or like more suited, if like the person like saying the responses match the person that is the ghost. You know what I mean? Bert was a dude,
Oh.
I'm a dude. Like if that's makes
One
it
of the
easier for him to
things-
like speak that, you know what I mean?
One of the things I've heard from other people that do it is that like they're more likely to answer people that they like or feel some kind of connection to.
Yeah.
So like if they have like a general, like there have been ghost stories of ghosts that have like a specific type of people that they like to interact with. Like certain ghosts, there's a ghost, I forget where exactly, but like it was in a video I just watched, but this ghost likes to steal earrings from women.
Hmm.
And like so it tends to interact more with women.
Yeah.
So like, it'll generally, if a woman like is the one asking questions and stuff, they're more likely to answer.
Right. I guess that's good to keep in mind for future spots that we go to.
Yeah.
Let's keep going here.
I'm out here soon. Anything else you want to say before I pull him out? Do you want to tell me why you did it? Or if you did it?
Freed her.
You freed her? Is that what you think you did? Did you free anybody else?
Only one.
Only one more or only Hulda?
Yeah, I'll pause it there real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's like just these responses are so.
Yeah. In response to
On
my
the
question,
fucking
explain to
nose.
me how those two words are what come through. Of
Yeah.
all those channels cycling through, how are these like the words coming through?
Yeah.
And
Freed
also,
her
there's
and only
literally no
one.
way we could have there's no way you could have heard what I was saying to you.
Mhm.
There's no way that we just got that machine like a couple days before doing this. We barely knew how to operate it to begin
Yeah.
with.
Like this purely. And now, obviously, like I said, I mean, you can believe us or not because anyone can say whatever the fuck they want on a video. But like, this was honestly just for the two of us to be like, we like watching videos like this. Let's fucking do it ourselves and see if we can't like prove or disprove it. Where like, if we would have went out and did this, it was just nonsensical things I was saying the entire time. Yeah, whatever. They faked those videos then.
Right.
I mean, I'm attesting to the fact I had no idea what the fuck you were gonna ask. I could not hear a word you were saying.
No, and like there's
Yeah.
certain parts in this, like when you watch the whole video, where you can audibly hear the spirit box like through the headphones you're wearing.
Yeah,
Like that's how loud it was. Like I could hear it
yeah.
sitting next to you.
it was like deafening. That was literally the only thing I could hear going on at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, just because. So like in the moment, like I'm just saying these words out loud. Like yeah, I could hear that there were like connections between some of them. Like freed her obviously struck me as odd because I
Yeah.
knew the story of like yeah he killed a girl, but I didn't really think too much of it. It's just like yeah, I mean.
I think when he said no, never mind. I reversed my connection. Never mind.
Okay. But yeah, no, freed her. And then like
And
the
then
only one
one.
is well, yeah, because that's where let me go back a second. Is that far enough?
Yeah.
Freed her.
You freed her? Is that what you think you did? Did you free anybody else?
Only one.
Only one more or only Hulda?
See, that right there is like I obviously in the moment I didn't think anything of it. Like you could have been asking like who am I talking to? And then I said only one. To me, it didn't mean shit in the moment.
Yeah.
To you, obviously, it's like, no, he's having a fucking conversation with you.
I was bordering a panic attack on the other side here.
But also the only one, he's like, nah, I only killed her. Like,
That's what I couldn't figure out. Was he like only her or like only like one more other than that?
he would have had like the own. I think there would have been like more, something else.
Yeah,
Only
they
one
would have
is
got
like-
it. They would have figured it out. He would have confessed.
The only one I think is just the one Holda. To me,
That's
at least.
once, like after the fact, watching the video back. That's how I took it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's keep going here.
All right, Bert, I think I'm going to pull him out. Anything else you want to say? I'm going to reach over and tap him.
Called sin.
I love that too. Literally, as you're like, I'm gonna reach over and tap him. Immediate response. Where I don't know if you can tell, but like the answers to the questions are there's like a time gap between a lot of them. Where like, you ask the question, you're leaving a space kind of waiting for the answer. It takes a little
Right.
bit till like I do say something out loud again.
Mhm.
And I guess the like method behind that is the fact that like, oh, it takes a lot of energy for the ghost to be able to like
Right.
do
And
it. So you gotta give them a minute.
that, and like a lot of people say that like when you come out with like a lot of equipment, your batteries will drain so fast, like especially if you're getting like a lot of like activity from
They're like
them.
tapping into
Yeah,
it.
they're stealing all your energy. Like they're stealing all the battery out of your tech.
Yeah. But even there, it's like that was one of the quickest responses. And it was as you were like, I'm going to tap them out. Anything else? Immediate.
Yeah. That happens a couple times too.
Yeah.
Hang out here because this area is used for minor sinning here. Is that why you stay, or are you trapped because of your sins?
I doubled down.
Oh, God. Why, Bert?
See, that's the part right there where it's like,
Yeah.
I didn't even, I thought that double down was just entirely random. Cause like,
Nah,
yeah, I mean,
I don't think it was.
it does kind of make sense in response to that question of like, are you trapped here because of your sins? And it's like, I doubled down. You calling that out though, it's like, holy shit. No, that makes so much sense of like,
I'm about to like pull you out and he brings up the sins again because like we
yeah,
changed the subject, we pivoted, and he's like, go back to the sins, like called sin, like talk about sin.
yeah. But
And
yeah,
then
just,
like, we ask about the sinning and he's like, I doubled down.
yeah. Well, and that's where like the doubling down is like to
That's
me
also a
right
really
now.
weird thing to hear come through a radio, you know?
Yeah, that's what I mean. The same thing of like the killed her. Like
Yeah.
what? Why would that be on the fucking radio? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and but yeah, I still can't get over that because like I had not made that connection you just did right now and I'm like holy shit because that makes the whole story make so much fucking sense now of like he assaulted her, tried to get away with it, killed her to not leave her as a witness. He fucking doubled down. He came back to finish the job to like not leave a witness.
Yep.
And that's his like major sins. Like holy. Oh, let's keep going here.
Yeah.
I still just can't like get over that. It's still just this like current revelation, but all right.
You doubled down on the sinning and refused to leave?
Assault, killed.
Okay. I think we're going to wrap it here. Maybe we'll try one more spot. All right, Bert, I'm pulling
Oh
him
my
out.
god. I just made another
Anything
connection right
else?
now.
Panic.
You're panicked, or we should be? Tell me that.
All right.
That's the part that I made the connection about. He's saying like I doubled down because of the panic.
Oh shit. Yeah, you're right. Because
Like
to me,
because it was dark when they were walking, I panicked. I doubled down. I like it was dark. I panicked. I was lost. Like I was drunk. I was confused. Like I
I
did it.
assaulted her. I then killed her.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Because yeah, every single thing is just fucking tying back.
Yeah.
What the shit, man?
Yeah.
Cause see, to
I'm
me,
now less excited about going back there.
going into the edit when I was doing this, to me, the whole panic thing, I was just like, oh yeah, maybe he just wanted to keep talking. But no, you're right. Of like, I think you're right at
Not
least.
being in the actual moment, because in that moment, hearing panic come through the thing, and also crazy that it comes through again in like a second. But like the word panic coming through again right after saying panic is really
Yeah,
weird, you
yeah.
know? For that to come through twice in a frequency.
Panic in the dark because of the panic, or like
Yeah,
what?
all the
No, that's
panic.
not how
It
it
was all
goes.
the panic or
All the
something like
panic.
that.
Yeah, some well, I mean, we'll get to it
Panic
in
in
a
the
second
dark
here.
or something like that.
But yeah, no, it's literally like fucking everything he's saying is tying back to him, like again, like confessing his crimes and like
Mm-hmm.
actually giving more clarification of like,
That's his punishment is that he has to sit there and confess his crimes. Like he has to stay where he did it.
well, I don't know, because like according to the actual stories we did find, that is the one thing that they all said was that he confessed really quickly.
Yes.
Like they had the evidence of his bloody razor like at his property. And basically, as soon as they're like, "Yeah, we found this razor with blood on," it, he was just like, "Yeah, I killed her. I don't know why, but I slit her throat. I don't know. I was overcome by the drink. I did it."
I
Like he
feel like
real
the reason he
quick.
didn't confess to like the full of us like the full assault is because he didn't want to like go down with that. You
Yeah,
know? Because like even then, like it was despicable. And also his punishment probably would have been worse.
yeah. I mean, he it was 8 years in prison, 1910 to 1918. He was hung in the summer of 1918.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is everything like fucking in this location. It's like pretty much everything is tying straight into like the murder. Like it was
Hmm.
literally like we were talking to fucking Bert and he was just telling us what happened with the murder and like confessing his sins again.
Yeah.
God damn. This is fucking wild to me. Cuz like I've always been like more of a skeptic when it comes to this shit.
I'm
And even
finally
now
bringing you
like
over to the right side.
but even now like the stuff of like just the full connections because like when I was going back and doing the ed on this, like the panic and the doubling down, I didn't think like anything of it. I was just like, yeah, those are like random answers to questions. Like it didn't really make sense to me. But you calling out those connections now, it's like holy shit! Like the whole time, all of his answers are tying straight into that. Like
Yeah.
here's the story.
And this is like the third time I've watched this probably, I think, maybe the second. But yeah, no. Seeing it like again, being in there in person, I was so freaked out. The only thing when I heard panic was I was like, "Oh, he was talking about me before the girl in the new spot." I was like, "He's telling me to panic."
Yeah. See, and that's what I thought too. And I think you calling it out was why I also was like on that vein. But it's
Yeah.
like, nah, he doubled down because he was in the dark. He panicked. She knew who he was.
Yeah.
Like, god damn. All right, let's keep
Yeah.
going.
I
We're
think we
almost through.
solved it.
Much first.
In the dark,
Okay. We should be panicked in the dark. Is that what you're telling me? Bert, I'm panicked. I am panicked. I don't like this anymore. You could have just touched a REM pod, man. I'm going to pull them out. Anything else?
everybody would have.
Everybody would have done what you did.
Here's the
The panic.
This is the one that I was like, holy shit.
Everybody's panicked. Or you were overcome with panic when you assaulted her. Is that why you killed Hulda? Because you knew you had already made a mistake?
Leave now.
Oh, God. Okay.
So I want to dive into that. So again, the answer of like panic, what in the dark, and you're like,
Yeah.
and then
Everybody
because of the
would've.
panic, yeah, that everybody would have. It's
Yeah.
like he's just saying like everybody would have done what I did. I think he's trying to like justify it himself of like
I
everybody
think
will have
he
done
means
that.
like everybody would have killed her at that point. Like
That's what I
everybody
mean.
would have,
Yeah.
yeah. Not everybody would have
Point.
assaulted her. Like they
You
wouldn't have done
notice?
exactly that, but like in that moment, they would have because of the panic
Yes, I think that's exactly it. But also
in the
that
dark.
well, as soon as you don't bring up the assault at
Mhm.
all throughout the entire thing until right now, as soon as you bring up the assault, leave now.
Yeah, I
That pissed
also
him
pieced
off.
that one together just now.
Yeah. Where it's like he was like openly talking about the murder, which is also the part that he openly confessed to. As soon as we get into the assault, get the fuck out of here. I'm not talking
'cause,
about
like,
that.
like you saw, I like kind of pieced it together a little bit there. I wasn't necessarily on the train of the assault yet. I was still thinking about the murder. But yeah, no, the way I asked it, like I could see, like, yeah, no, it sounds like I am asking him about the assault of her, and he's
Yeah.
like, get out.
Yeah. Because like he in life, he openly confessed to the murder. That was the part he was willing to confess to. But the assault was never that's where the like gray area lied.
Yeah.
And like even like all the answers to the questions like going into like up to this point, the assault's never like directly mentioned. He was just like, she rejected me, I panicked, like I doubled down, I had to kill her, like everybody
think
would
when
have.
he
I was
said
panicking.
Do you think when he said freed her, like he like freed her from having to live the life of like also now like on top of being a widow, but now also like a
That kind of victim.
yeah, like having to live with that.
Yeah. I mean, I do think so.
And
But yeah,
also they like sent her back to like her husband.
yeah. Where like freeing her from this life after he did what he did to her, sending her back
Yeah.
to her husband, he freed her, he brought her back to him. Like, oh man.
I have so many goosebumps right now. I
Yeah.
hate it.
I'm really glad we did this because like we were kind of iffy on like whether or not this would make for like, you know, something decent, but like holy shit, man, just the other like connections being made like right now is like fucking mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's
ooh.
yeah. I have pieced a lot together and I don't love what I'm hearing from Bert. I don't love it.
We need to go back at some point in
Oh
the
yeah,
future and like try
definitely.
and drive back in on it. But I do want to rewind this a little bit back to like just the whole leave now thing because I
Yeah.
do want to hear that again of like the
Take it back
assault.
to where he says about the panic quick. I just want to hear that whole bit again.
How far back is that? Is it
You're
back here?
panicked, or we should
Yeah.
be? Tell me that much first.
In the dark,
Okay. We should be panicked in the dark. Is that what you're telling me? Bert, I'm panicked. I am panicked. I don't like this anymore. You could have just touched a REM pod, man. I'm going to pull them out. Anything else?
everybody would have.
Everybody would have done what you did.
The panic.
Everybody's panicked. Or you were overcome with panic when you assaulted her. Is that why you killed Hulda? Because you knew you had already made a mistake?
Leave now.
Oh, God. Okay.
See, going back through that again, it's like we
Mhm.
actually because nobody in any of the
And
articles we
also
read.
how fast he's like, what? As soon as I say it, there's not even a pause. He's like, leave now.
Yeah, it's like oh my fuck. Because I again he admitted to the murder openly,
Mhm.
but there was conjecture on like the assault, on like the level of assault. Where some it was like
Yeah.
no, he pulled her hair and like pulled her to the ground. That was the assault. Others said that it was more dark in terms of like
Yes,
assault, just
Sager.
different kind of assault. If you catch what I'm putting down, I mean, I know you do, but like,
Yeah, yes, Ader.
but Yeah. So, but it's one of the like right there. It's literally like he openly confesses to the murder, but as soon as as soon as you start asking questions related to the assault, he gets pissed. He's like, "No, I'm not talking about that. Get out of here. Leave
Yeah.
now." Immediately, too. It's like,
And I also, every time I'm like, all right, I'm going to pull him out. Anything else you want to say? Immediately just throw something out real quick.
yeah. Until you bring up this assault, and he's like, "Leave
Yeah.
now."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, oh man. That just made that whole thing so much like
Creepier.
better, creepier, worse, better. I mean, to me better. Like I'm now like, oh man, that's something. Like, because even like going through on the edit, like I said, not piecing it all together yet.
Yeah.
Of like, yeah, it seemed some of it was kind of random, but like now making those connections of like him doubling down, he was panicked in the dark. Everybody will have had that panic. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
we need
Yeah,
to
no,
go
I think
back.
he straight up confessed.
Yeah, I do as well. I think he was literally confessing his story again to us, and yet again, like he confessed in life, he didn't get into the assault. He just said, "Yes, I killed her," and that was all he like left it at. I think he was doing the exact same thing with us right here.
Yeah.
Of,
Because
we
I
need to-
mean, it's a like it has its ghost stories for sure, but I don't know how many people have actually gone out there to attempt to actually contact him and talk to him.
I don't think anyone has. I
No,
mean,
that's
people
what I'm
talk about
saying.
seeing the
Like
ghosts.
I feel like that's why he was talking about me, like, and when he told us to go over to his spot,
Yeah.
where he could talk to us better, like if he'd have like somehow like more ability to talk over there, and like I don't know, it just seems like he was pretty readily, because again,
On.
what you're
Like,
seeing, what you saw like in the video, if you watch the whole thing, we don't really cut out much of the footage. A lot of it was like pretty immediate responses,
Mhm.
aside from like me not giving you enough time to get zoned in.
I do fast forward some of the sections because there are
Yeah.
some spots that are a little bit long between question and response. I just like fast forward it. I don't cut anything there though. You can still see the whole thing,
But
but
the coherent responses start pretty immediately. And again, for this being our first attempt at ever doing something like this, I did not expect to get like at least like I didn't even really expect to get any coherent responses, let alone this level of coherent. Like this
of,
was
like,
a full-blown
conversational.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn. So we need to go back there at some point
Yeah.
and then literally just be like, "Hey, Bert, we're back again. Want to talk? We know you don't get to talk much. How about you talk to us again?"
We should try going there a couple times maybe, and just at one point we should give him our names and just see if at any point he can say them back. Because if one of our names comes through the spirit box, explain that away to me. Explain that away to me.
Yeah, right.
Especially my name, Kayla.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
not
know
going to
any
be heard on the
songs like-
radio.
Same with I mean, honestly, Brandon. I don't know any songs that like somebody would say Brandon in.
Yeah, like me either. But like, if you heard somebody say like a radio host and his name was Brandon, maybe like
Yeah.
even that's slightly more plausible. But like, if they say Kayla, nah.
Well, I will say there are points where like I call it out at some point, but sometimes you hear words that are snippets of other words that make a full word. But like if it was something that was super garbled, I couldn't tell what it really said, I wouldn't say it.
Yeah.
But like once in a while there would be like bits of phrases that conjoined into like one word or like 2 or 3 word like phrases from like multiple pieces of songs, but it was like clear. I only was saying the stuff that I was like clear, like this is what it said, like I can clearly hear these words. That's what I'm saying out loud. That was the only like things I was actually like calling out.
Yeah.
So like, there would definitely be a way to like conjoin multiple words into like one of our names. But yeah.
But for somebody to just say it on a radio, that'd be super weird.
Right. But
If
yeah,
if a ghost ever says my name through the spirit box, I'm fighting. I'm going to the other side and I'm fighting.
but
Don't
see, this is
don't say my
why
name, please.
I think we like kind of stick with this where we had this conversation of like future spots that we go to. We kind of want to like avoid the mainstream tourist sites and just kind of stick to, I mean, we have a trip planned to like one kind of mainstream site, but other than that, we want to try and like stick to like small town local ghost stories. See if we can't talk to like people in the area that can tell us the ghost stories. Maybe try and talk to like a local historian that can like give us background information and talk about it with us. But honestly, like now seeing this over again and piecing all this shit together, it's like maybe that's the move because like
We
I
go
don't
back.
well, I mean one going back, but two, just the fact that like we had this full-blown fucking conversation with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that also that might have to do with the fact that like I tried looking into it. There's really no videos or like there's only a couple articles even in this location. So I doubt anyone's taken a spirit box out there to like talk to him before this.
Yeah. I do wish he would have touched the REM pod at some point.
Well, you
As I
even
say,
said,
watch it just go off in the background. I will weep.
but there was like a protective thing on it. You were saying that like,
It's like it's stupid too because there's even like a note that came with it that says remove the protective layer, like the paper layer, before using.
and that was still on it.
It was, yeah, but I don't think that that should have really affected too much with it.
Right.
But I mean, we'll try it out.
I
It was
almost
just
think
really
next
stuck
time,
on
though-
there, and I couldn't get it off.
So if we go back to this spot, and I think we definitely go back,
Definitely.
I think we maybe bring him an offering next time. I think we want to try and stay on his good side. Just because
Yes.
like when we were like on his good side, he was like readily talking. But as soon as you bring up the assault, leave now, get the fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah.
see if we can't get back on his good side and just like try and have more conversation with him. See what happens.
Yeah, no, I definitely think we go back and we visit Bert and see what. I do think we try and keep on his good side, at least for most of it, but I do think we bring up the assault and see what kind of responses we
wanna-
get. And then, like,
Yeah,
refuse to leave when he says it just to see if
that's
that.
what I was gonna say. Like,
Yeah.
I know that like other people have like antagonized and then they just stop talking because they get pissed off. They're like, nah, I'm
Right.
done because they're pissed.
Watch
But I
that tree that's behind, like, in front of his picture just
fall.
topples over on us.
But no, I want to stay on his good side for the majority of it. But like I said, I'm one to like want to try and antagonize a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think that like, well, okay, here's the thing. Maybe like I lay down with doing the Estes method with you asking questions on his good side.
Yeah.
We switch. I try and antagonize him with questions that are like more probing with you calling out the responses.
Yeah, I'm excited to try it out and see. Because, like I said, when I first got it, I tested it for like a second just to test the headphones with the spirit box to see how loud it would be.
It's very
And
loud.
it is, yeah, it's super loud. But like, I mean, I only had it on for like a minute at max, so I couldn't hear anything, you know, like it just was inaudible because you just heard the sounds of voices starting to talk, but it would just immediately be cut off because it switched to the next station.
Yeah, exactly. But
So
yeah, I
like,
think that's probably the move. When we do eventually go back, you stay on his good side for the questions, then we switch and I try and antagonize and dive into that and see if I can't piss him off and get him to like talk more.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's definitely the move.
Good cop, bad cop. You're the good cop, I'll be the bad cop.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm super about it. We should bring like a couple beers or something for
That's what
him.
I'm saying. Yeah, like some sort of like offering or something like that.
Yeah.
But well, all right. We went back through it, but damn man, some of those extra connections that like we made, that's got
Yeah.
me like
I wasn't
weird right
expecting
now.
to get
Like
freaked out by my own video, by our own video.
because like I said, even going back, like I spent a lot of time on the edit for this, and I didn't make those connections, even though I watched them like half a dozen times, like going
Yeah.
back through. But like, god damn,
Yeah. No, I think we just heard the whole story from Bert
I
himself.
think so as well. Yeah, it seems like that's kind of what it was, but
I think going forward, this is also what we do, where we reevaluate all our footage.
yeah,
And to any of
I
our
didn't mind it.
viewers, if you guys have any local hauntings in your area, you know, let us know. Write into us. Send us the areas. We might come check them out.
Yeah, if you got local ghost stories, hit us up with the story. I mean, leave it in the comments down below. We don't have shit for viewers at the moment, so we respond to every comment that we see. We'll see it. We'll get back to you. Tell us your local ghost story, what's going on, and maybe we'll come check it out. Who knows?
Yep.
But if you like that, go ahead and leave your comments down below. Like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. If you're on Spotify, give us a follow. Like I said, it helps us out immensely. Tell your friends if you enjoyed it. If you have friends that have ghost stories, point them in our direction and be like, yo, go tell them about this shit. Because we'll see it, like I said.
Yeah, and we love to hear a good ghost story.
Yeah, 100%. That's why we're doing this, is just to dive into more, deep dive into the ghost stories, ones that like no one's heard before, ones that we haven't heard before.
Yeah.
And trying to figure some more shit out, maybe figure out more of the story when we actually go on location, like it seems like we did with Bert.
Yeah, maybe the ghosts just feel better about telling us their truth themselves.
Hopefully. But all right, I think with that, from us here at Can You Scare Me, sweet nightmares.
Nightmares.